Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I've got my November 2025 plan with me so far for the month. Because of course, as the month goes on, things will change. So as per usual, I'm going to flip this around and knock out my washi tapes. And of course, I picked some really pretty fall washies. So the first one I've got is Pumpkin Everything. Who here is a pumpkin spice lover? I 100% am. I love trying all things pumpkin, which has not led me down a great road every single time because, some things just weren't meant to be pumpkinified. Potato chips are one of those things. Yes, I wholeheartedly understand that I tried them at my own risk, but my husband brought them home from 7-Eleven, and we very, very rapidly learned that while sweet and salty can mix, they definitely did not in this case. So I haven't seen them since, so I can't even think that I'm possibly the only person that was not a fan of them. I'm just very curious how they made it past the testing phase, because I don't think anyone could possibly find those appealing. Now, I do also understand that pumpkin is definitely one of those seasonal obsessions for a lot of folks. And again, I get it. I am one of those folks. I would also eat pumpkin any time of the year. So it's not just a fall thing for me. I just really like pumpkin. Okay, I've got my washi tape up here. I don't like that the blue is showing through, but I'm also not going to go through and white out around it. Okay, of course, I'm going to start with the first half of the month. Okay, so we've got the second. Let me just see if there's any bill items on here. On the 25th, we have electric and gas. Okay. And then I'm going to flip it over to the other side and knock out the bills and other items. And then we've got the 7th and the 21st. So then, of course, on the 1st, got mortgage. And then, oh, I totally missed one. Oops. That's okay. I'll go back and put it on there. So for the 14th. And then on the 28th, I've got internet. And then let me go back over here and on the 9th, I will put down my water and trash. Okay, and now I can get started on actually writing in my month. Okay, so for the second, the first thing that I'm going to write down is going to be my workout with friends. And then my husband will also be on a hunting trip. On the 3rd, I've got family time. And then Awana dinner. And then on the 4th, my son has martial arts. And then we will have some friends over for dinner. And then on the 5th, my son has martial arts. And as I get closer to November, more items will get added here. It's just, this is what I've got for right now for the month so far. I think I've said that like 4 times. But I just want to be super clear. Okay. For the 9th, I've got workout with friends. And then family time. And then for the 10th, that's actually a blank. For the 11th, my son has martial arts. And then we will have dinner at a friend's house. And then for the 12th, again, my son has martial arts. For the 16th, I've got a workout with friends. And then family time. And then for the 17th, I've got family time and a Mulan dinner. 18th, my son has martial arts. He's also got a doctor's appointment. And then we will have friends over for dinner. And then on the 19th, he's got martial arts. On the 23rd, I've got a workout with friends. On the 24th, we enter fall break. And then we will do time with son, time with daughter. For anyone who's new here, when I put time with son, time with daughter, that means one of the adults will have one-on-one time with one of the kids. And then on a different day, we will rotate and swap, essentially. So that way, everybody gets a little bit of individual time. Now, we do also have a teenager in the house, so sometimes she's like, no, thank you. I would rather spend time with myself. And so at that point, we're like, okay, that is your choice. Right now, she's a teenager. The friends are more important to her right now. And we get that. We were teenagers once too. Dinner at friends. And then for the 26th, again, we are in fall break. And my son likely has a martial arts session scheduled. But that's the day before Thanksgiving. So now that I'm looking at this with my entire brain, I don't think that's going to happen. Plus, at some point on Wednesday, we will be leaving to go to Arkansas. And then I'm off. Okay, and then for the 30th, all I have is workout with friends right now. I legitimately cannot even believe how close Thanksgiving is and how little we have left of the year. I can honestly say that I think that I've fallen behind again on my reading challenge. Not because I want to, but because life is like that sometimes. Okay, for the first, I've got the monthly finance meeting. I'm going to write hike, bike, or tennis. That will likely be a walk because, or a hike, or maybe a bike ride because I also have an AFPS walk that I'm participating in. That's the word I'm looking for. So it's a suicide prevention walk. And then my husband will be on a hunting trip. I'm not sure if he's leaving on... Oh, he's definitely not leaving on Friday. Hello. That's October 31st. It's Halloween. Get real. So he'll be leaving sometime Saturday morning. And I think that's all for the 1st. For the 6th, I've got my workout with friends. And if I ever seem like I'm writing super small, it's because I know I'm going to have items to add to these boxes. So I want to make my writing as small as possible now, essentially. And then my son is going to have a kids' night out this night, hopefully. Again, I'm going to write hike, bike, and tennis. And then we do have a concert that we are going to with some friends. As it turns out, we already scheduled a hike with some other friends. And then in between those, I will be doing a date or planning a date night. For the 13th, I've got workout with friends. For the 14th, time with son and time with daughter. And then for the 15th, we're looking at a family hike. And then my husband will have alone time. For the 20th, again, I've got workout with friends. For the 21st, I've got nothing. For the 22nd, I'm going to write hike, bike, or tennis. We haven't played tennis in a minute, but as much as I would like to, I don't think that's going to happen. Then I will have alone time. On the 27th, I have, it is Thanksgiving Day. We will be on fall break. We will be in Arkansas. And then also, I am off. I believe my husband's off too, but I don't know his exact days off. And I'm also off on Friday. So for the 28th, again, fall break. We will still be in Arkansas. And then I am off. And then for the 29th, we're going to do a family hike in Arkansas. This is the last day of our Arkansas trip. And then my husband will be planning some sort of little date before we head out for the night. Okay, now I'm going to flip this open, and I am going to start with my color coding. So, of course, my son has a doctor's appointment, which I put in classic orange. And I've been putting things in classic orange, like my doctor's appointments in classic orange, pretty much since I started planning. It's just the color that's always stuck out to me, and now it's ingrained in my brain that anything orange is an important appointment. So and my color coding system has it has evolved over the years, because I used to only use like classic highlighter colors. Then I expanded to the mild liners, and now like the classic highlighter colors have a lot more colors. So like this like super light almost yellow lime green color I use for school updates, because both of my kids go to public school. So a lot of times if there's a vacation, because they're in the same school district, their breaks are going to line up. But if I had a child who went to a different district, then their schedule could be different. Because I know, like, for our neighborhood, half goes to one ISD and the other goes to the other ISD, and their breaks do not line up. So since my kids do line up, I used to have like a struggle where both of my kids have their own color. So my daughter is light pink and my son is this like almost olive green. It's like a light green, but it's more like olive than this. When they would have fall break, I would have to list it twice or highlight half of it this color and half of it this color, since it applied to both kids. And I don't have a color for necessarily both kids that makes sense. So now I have a school a school highlighter color. That, and if there's any like award ceremonies and things like that, now typically I will align those per child, because an award ceremony for my daughter isn't going to be an award ceremony for my son. So I do differentiate those. But anywho, what I'm trying to get at is that this is how I decided to do things, because it seems to work better for me and my brain. So my daughter will be in pink. Although she would love them to be highlighted in black more than likely, but I don't have a black highlighter. Okay, there's that one. And then for my little dude, I'm gonna highlight all of his martial arts stuff. But the way that I came to the determination of like what colors I needed to do or set up was I took all of the highlighters that I had, all of the ones that I planned to use in my planner, and I color swatched them. And then I started to assign those colors based on what I knew I needed. It's a long time. The other day of his hunting trip. And then I'm going to highlight all of my physical activities. But once I color swatched them all and determined what all of my needs were as well, I just started like color matching or color assigning. And then I've made adjustments over time. Because sometimes it, how do I put this? Sometimes it makes sense in the moment, but then when it actually comes down to utilizing those colors, it stopped working for me. So I just make adjustments as needed. Whatever I have to do, whatever feels right, whatever works right. Because sometimes I would assign colors to certain things and then it would get down to the brass tacks of using them and I would see it and I would hate it. So for example, a color that I'm using a lot, it has to be a color that I like seeing. And I think I've mentioned this before, but like the more that I like the way my planner looks, the more I use my planner is essentially the thought process. Friends over for dinner, family time, lawn dinner, family time. So I have two different colors for color coding like family type activities. It's these two mild liners. So they're very, very close to each other, but one of them is like this one is a much lighter color. And because it's a much lighter color, I use it for anything that is done inside of the house. So then when I go back through and I highlight like dinner at friends, it's a darker color so that my brain understands I have to leave my house to do this. Because if I don't, It hurts my brain. So then all of the Arkansas trip, of course, that's going to be out of the house. And usually for things that are out of the house, we have to like prep for that, i.e. for like this trip. We have to gas up the car. We have to pack up our luggage. We have to pack the car. We have to situate the pets. All of those things. So, which actually that reminds me, I have to find a place for our pupper dog. We might just go ahead and have him boarded this year because I can't think of anyone off the top of my head that can keep him. My alone time, and then my AFPS walk, and then for our date nights and adult only activities, that concert is adults only, date night, and date night. And then I missed this one when I was highlighting my physical activities earlier. So anytime there's a hike, I always put that under like our physical activities because it is a physical activity. It is movement. So that way there's no expectation of anyone to be sitting down, not exerting themselves. Sometimes, depending on the scenario, we will, if the teenage daughter doesn't want to go, we won't make her go if we can. But sometimes she does have to go. Hiking is not necessarily her favorite thing. But this is my entire month of November. I will go through and put my goals, and then that'll be in the flip through. They are very similar to like the goals listed previously. Ooh. Okay, here we go. So I'll go through and I'll list those. And then before, see, I've gone through and I've updated everything, which is what I'll do. And then I'll do the flip through so that you can see each individual month. So you can see all the items that were added. And then all of the goals that were hit, I'll check off, of course. But that's all I've got for today. I hope you guys had fun planning November with me. I'm so certain that there are going to be some items added after the fact because, of course, it's November. It's one of those major holiday months. I hope you guys had a great time planning with me, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks for being here. Bye.